It's early in the morning and this room is a mess. I can't find no matching socks today. No, it isn't easy.
Alright guys, happy Easter everybody. I know it's early, but I'm wishing everybody a happy Easter now. Yay! How do you guys like my bunny? Isn't he so cute? Alright, welcome to Nicolo's World Podcast. I am your host, Nicole, also known as Nikki18229. I'd like to say welcome to new and returning viewers, and if you are new, thank you so much for checking me out. If I want to apologize first off if I sound nasally or congested, or at all if I start coughing. I may not be able to edit it out, but I want to apologize in advance. My allergies are acting up. And I'm going to put this little guy back real quick. Alright. And for those of you that observe it or celebrate it, I also want to wish you either a belated or a current Good Friday. And as I said, a happy early Easter, or Easter depending on when you watch this. And if you do not celebrate or observe Easter, have a wonderful Sunday, and I hope it's good. Alright, how is everybody? How's everybody's week been going? I hope really good. I know I am actually probably a day late recording this. Thursday kind of got away from me, and that's okay, because I'll explain that in Blathery. Excuse me, it's late here. Oh, I'm so sorry. I am sounding rude. It's late here. It's almost 11 o'clock at night, but I wanted to get this podcast out. Alright, first let's go to Administrati. I would like to thank Marlisha and Talia from Penhook Needles. They let me know that my podcast on iTunes has been acting up. I believe she messaged me and told me that I think it was cutting out is what she said. Let me get it up here because I don't want to get it all confused. Let's see here. Oh, okay. It was Talia's. No. Hang on here, I'm looking. I believe it was Penhook Needles who told me that my podcast was acting up. I think they said that it was cutting out. I can't find the email, but I wanted to say thank you so much for letting me know. And if it wasn't Marlisha or Talia, whoever it was in Ravelry that emailed me that I cannot now find that email, thank you. I did get a email from Podcast Garden. They are my hosts so that I can upload to iTunes. And they did state that there was an issue with their server, and they since have resolved it. However, could you please let me know if it continues to act up on iTunes? Maybe then it's something on my end, or I need to let them know. But thank you again. And for those of you that watch me on iTunes, if you do notice that it is acting up, please let me know, because that's something that I need to know about. And also, if you leave me an iTunes review, please email me and let me know, because I don't always check the iTunes reviews. So if you do leave me a review, you can email me at nickelosworldpodcast@gmail.com. And it will also be at the end of the show at the credits. And that's also, y'all, where you can find me on the interweb and the podcast on the interweb. Alright, moving along. Finished objects. I don't have any. That's just how it goes sometimes. Excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry. And I also took an allergy pill, and I think it's catching up to me, because I'm dry as well, so I'm sorry. Alright. We have, you know what? Since it's sitting here in front of me, I'm going to change the podcast up a little bit. And we're going to go into stash enhancements, which will lead into works in progress. I'm sorry about that. I had to blow my nose, and I did not want to be rude and blow it on camera. So, if this seems like a stop-start episode, that's why. Alright, stash enhancements. I'm working on another project, which I'll get into, and I needed knitting needles, and I went to my local but not local knitting store, or yarn store. Where I live in Pennsylvania, this is about maybe 3. It's like 2 or 3 towns away from me, so it takes me about 15, 20 minutes, if that, maybe less, to get to. And I've explained in other podcasts why I don't use my very own local LYS. But anyways, those of you that know me know that I've been wanting Noro yarn. I've heard such wonderful reviews about it. Wanted to try it. I was like, I'm just going to order it online. I didn't have to, because I found some at the yarn shop. And it's kind of like my little Easter gift. I only got 2 skeins of it. I should have got more. However, I only got 2 right now to start. I don't know what I'm going to make with it. And if you've never seen Noro, it is a Japanese yarn. It's made in Japan. And I don't know how you say the name of it. It's Nicole, learn your alphabet, dear. It's KUREYON. 100% wool. It's my first 100% wool yarn I've ever owned. It's 50 grams or 100 meters. And obviously you don't machine wash unless you want to felt it. It's showing an iron. You can iron it. I don't think I'd want to iron it. Just let it dry by itself. But anyways, it is color 40 lot E. And I made sure when I got both skeins that the color and the lot matched up. And I mean, obviously they're skeined 2 different ways, but they're the same dye lot and same color. That's what it looks like. I am happy with it. I love this color. I've seen it knit up, and it's so gorgeous. It's like, oh, my little pet. Oh. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this aside and add to this skein and make words, Nicole. I'm going to add to this skein, these 2 skeins, and make something very pretty out of it. Obviously, it'll probably be something that maybe I wear in the early fall to late spring. And as you can see here, if my camera will focus, there are the instructions in washing. And I'm showing this for those of you maybe that have never seen Noro. But that's what that looks like. And I figured out, looking, that COL is color and lot is obviously E. That's probably the dye lot. And then made in Japan, and voila. I do happen to like this, and I am going to be removing it from the bag that I currently have it in and storing it. But I just have it in here for the sake of the podcast, and I'm sorry for the crinkling. Alright, next. This was more crinkling, so if you got earbuds, sorry, you're going to be crinkle for a while. My Graham got this for me for Easter as my early Easter gift. We went to Big Lots today because I love Big Lots. If you don't have one near you, basically what it is it's kind of like a bargain closeout place almost. I don't want to say it's like a bargain closeout because you can go into the store, into other stores, and you can get some of this stuff. So sometimes it may be stuff that was overstocked and they're selling it, or bargain closeout stuff. Not 100% sure, but I love it. And I don't know how long that they have started, how long they've carried yarn. I've just noticed it recently. But I got 4 skeins of it. And I don't like to nitpick. I don't like to find, we all have fault. Don't like to find fault. But I wish they would organize their yarn better. They have like the little wire racks, like how the whole thing's up. And all the yarns mixed together and thrown in there. And that's a pet peeve of mine. I don't know, maybe it's the OCD in me, I should say, because I'm like, can't you organize it by color or by type? Instead of throwing it around, because then they have some top shelves, and if you're like me and you're only 5'2", you can't reach the top shelf. And then they got some of the very, very top, and nobody can reach those unless you're like 7 foot tall. And that's probably their extra stash or stock. But, maybe Big Lots, you should organize your yarn a little bit better so that people can find it. I even found on the shelf knitting needles, no tag, no price. And I'm there like, okay, did somebody leave their knitting needles there, or were they for sale? I don't know. But that's my pet peeve for today. But anyways, getting back to it. This is called Baby Soft Canon, CANAN, hand knitting. It's 100 grams. It is 100% acrylic. And the colorway is pale green, lot 9137. And I got this at Big Lots. It was only $2.50 a skein. Wow. But this is what it looks like. It's actually prettier in person. Again, I think it's my lighting. It's nighttime in here. I'm trying to sit further away. But here is the colorway. And it is a pale green, and that is the name of it. It is pretty. I don't know what I'm going to make with it. I got 4 skeins of it. I may keep it for a baby blanket, or if I have enough yardage for a garment, maybe a summertime garment or something. I don't know. Maybe a baby sweater. Maybe I'll use it for chemo hats. Not really sure. Alright. Next, this is also going to lead into knitting. First, when I was up at the lawn store. Yeah, Nicole. When you up at the lawn store to get knitting needles. When I was up at the yarn shop to actually get knitting needles, I was looking, I needed US 4 3.50 millimeter, 3.50 millimeter knit needles. They didn't, like on Pick Circulars, they didn't have them, but they did on the Knit Picks interchangeable. And I got the metal ones this time. And I was like, okay, obviously, hopefully, all their interchangeables are interchangeable with the cables. I just flew by the seat of my pants in this one, y'all. But this is what I got. Yes, I left the price tag on it. Those of you can tell me, is that reasonable for buying these in a yarn shop, or is that a little bit pricey? But here's the size. And I normally don't show prices of how much I spend on things because I don't think it's right. But I just kind of want to get an estimate if you can tell me if that's just an average price or if I'm overpaying. Because if I am, for certain things I will go other places. Anyways, these are interchangeable tips. They are metal, and I will show them to you because it's going to lead up into works in progress. And also another stash enhancement. I got my bag I won from Pen Hook and Needles. They had their sweater along I entered, and I happened to win one of the prizes. And so I want to say thank you, Marlisha and Talia, for sending me the bag, and happy Easter to you all. And Talia, you are 100% right. This bag is so me because it's colorful. And not to mention, I love cupcakes. I know, they're bad for me, but I love them. Don't know why, but I do. So you were 100% right. I love it. And this is the inside of it. And I want to say, Talia and Marlisha, you can correct me on this if I have the person who made it wrong, because I want to get it right. I want to say, is it Kathy from the Knit Nerd podcast that made this? I'm thinking that's who it is. And if so, thank you so much. I really thank you for making this bag. I really love it. And even my dog loves it. My dog 3, that you see on here occasionally, he loves this bag. I got the mail, and I seen it was for me. And I'm like, and I seen the dress, I'm like, I know who it's from. I know what this is. And I got excited. And my dog gets excited when the mail lady comes. He loves it. He loves when the mail lady comes because he goes with me to the front door to get the mail, and he says hi to her. So he's seen that. I was like, it's for me. And of course he's excited. And I open it, and he's right there with me, flicking. And as soon as I open it to take it out, he sees this bag, and he's just going crazy. He's like, jumping around, and I'm there squealing like that. And I take it out of the other bag it's in, and of course he has to smell it. Well, he's just going bonkers. He loves the smell of this bag. And I'm excited, I'm there going, and he's there sniffing it in, going crazy with me. I don't know what it is, but he loves the smell of this bag. It's his favorite bag. So, win-win. And as I said, this is going to lead into my knitting needles. And what my works in progress. Alright. These are the Knit Picks interchangeable knitting needles I bought. I don't know what, are they the nickel plated? I'm not 100% certain. But these are the ones I got. And they fit really well onto my Knit Picks cable needles, which I'm 100% happy about. Alright, now that we got that established, I guess I should talk about, you're probably wondering, Nicole, what is that hot little mess on your needles? Well, this is the newest thing I casted on. Like, I really needed to cast anything else on my needles, y'all. Really. I was listening to, and this is a podcast recommendation as well. Boop, boop. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. My eyes are itchy. But anyways, Dramatic Knits podcast. Love it. I love Callie and Steve on Dramatic Knits podcast. And Steve is as you know, I'm a big avid supporter of nail knitters and crocheters and spinners. And Steve, aka Mr. Dramatic Knits, designed a pattern. It's a free pattern on Rav, and it's called the Father Time Neck Warmer. Okay, that's not actually the right name of it. The right name of it is called the Father Time Cowl. And it is a free pattern on Rav. Here's the front. That's Steve, Mr. Dramatic Knits, and he is modeling his Father Time cowl. And as I said, it's a free pattern on Rav. It uses US 4 3.5 millimeter 40-inch cable needles. I know the cables I have it on, I think, are 24-inch. I should change it with the sweater I have, which I have my 40s on. Anyways, it is a super easy pattern, and I happen to love it. Here's what it looks like knitted up. It is a long neck warmer, which you can wrap doubly or wear whatever way you want to suit yourself. You may recognize this yarn. I was trying to make socks out of it before, and I didn't like the way they looked, so I frogged the socks. This is just some yarn. I don't know the name of it. I picked it up at AC Moore. AC Moore on sale for $1. And you're not going to be able to see too much. I am going to obviously have to change to my 40-inch circs. But this is what it's looking out so far. Not very far along. I was knitting on it last night. That's what it looks like so far. Open and airy pattern. I love the color. As I said, I don't know the colorway. It is gray and pink, and I love it. I'm not a pink gal. I love color, but I'm not a pink gal. I don't wear very much pink. I don't know why. I don't do pink very much. I guess because of my rosacea, because my cheeks are usually always red, and wearing pink doesn't always complement it. And also because I'm so pale, I don't think pink always compliments me. But I happen to love it because it's mixed with gray. And I hope I didn't drop any stitches. And if I did, oh well, I'll fix it. And if not, no biggie. It's a design element, and I will talk about that then. But I love the colors. And the stitch marker, I am using a stitch marker so that I know I'm at the beginning of my round. And it is a stitch marker that I made myself. And if you all are ever interested, or you happen to like a stitch marker that I have, do let me know, because I do have some. Maybe I'll use them as a giveaway where you could win some of my stitch markers. I do have 2 skeins of this color. Here's the one I'm currently not using, and excuse me that it's a hot little mess, because that's how my old ball winder did it. But that's what it looks like. I think this is called Yarn 2 or something. Not 100% certain. I have other yarns like this I got, so I will look for future reference at them and tell you. They don't list the colorway names, I don't think. I think it just goes by dye a lot. I'm not 100% certain. But that's what I'm knitting. And I found a new bag. I'm covering it up because this was given to me in something else, but a new Notions bag. And it's all being kept in my cupcake bag. Alright. Next, we will go, I'm gonna save that one for my next topic. Socks. I can show socks quick because they're over here looking at me. In my bag. My little mustache podcast bag. Because I have my little mustache podcast bag. My little button. As another podcast I love is The Knitting Den with Denise. I love her. She's English. And I love the way she says buttons is buttons. And I just love it, Denise. And that's another great podcast is Knitting Den. Check her out. And also check these lovely gals out. The Mustache Podcast, Stacy and Steph. Free Flower and Super Steph. They are, I just love them. They're so upbeat. They're so fun. I'm recommending a lot of podcasts today. Anyways, these are my vanilla latte socks. Not a whole lot of love on them, y'all, this week. Not a big difference in them compared to when you seen them last. But this is what they're looking like. Let me get my foot in here and show you. Because my sock blocker's in my bedroom and, well, I'm not going to go running and get it. So we'll just use my cutout of my foot as the next best thing. But here's what it's looking like. We're almost halfway up in my foot. We're almost halfway at the halfway mark. And when we get to about here, or a little below, we'll start decreasing for the toe. So I have a ways to go. And as I said, this is the Vanilla Latte Socks. It is a free Rav pattern. They are cuffed down. I used Fish Lips Kiss Heel, which is a paid-for pattern on Rav. I highly recommend it. It's only $1, and it is so easy. And it happens to turn into one of my favorite sock patterns. And the yarn I am using is SRK On Your Toes 4-ply with aloe vera, 100 grams, 3.5 ounces, 390 yards, 360 meters, 75% superwash wool, 25% nylon. And the colorway is Sunset Prints, lot 2255. This is the name of them. On Your Toes. And if it comes up right, here is the website for them in case you're interested and want to check them out. And here, if you like the color, here is the name and the dye lot. I got these at Tuesday mornings. That is kind of like another bargain closeout place, which is nice. They don't always have the same things all the time. It's constant change up of what they get in, but I like it. And as I said, the socks didn't get a whole lot of love, but they did get love this week. So I wanted to show you. And I think the colorway is fun. And also, the sock, I normally don't wear socks that high up on my feet. I normally wear ankle socks, but I decided a change is good. Next, we are going to go on to my Hawaiian friendship sweater. And I do not know how you say it in Hawaiian. This is a paid-for pattern, and it is designed by the lovely Mel or M-Ski Knits from the Single Handed Knits podcast. I absolutely love this pattern. It is fun. And here is what it looks like when it is finished. Those of you that have watched my podcast, you can probably tell me all the details by now. Alright. I'm going to let you know, I put in some design elements. I'm not calling them mistakes. I'm not calling them accidents. They're my own design elements. And yes, it's because I made a boo-boo, but I don't look at it as a boo-boo. And I will tell you as soon as I show y'all. But here is my progress. Let me scoop back. Here's progress on it. That is the front. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm yawning. And this is the back. I'm not sure if it looks completely different from last week. I'm hoping it does. If you guys follow me, if any of you follow me on Instagram, I posted some pictures of this on Instagram where I tried it on just to see how it generally fits since the last time I tried it. And all I have to say is, wow. I love this pattern. I was following it to a T, and I'm glad that I did not go up a bust size like I was thinking. I'm glad I knit it to the bust size that I am, because it would have been too big. And I love this boat neck top. It's a new to me thing because I've never worn a boat neck top before. And this is a raglan top down. As you can see if you're new, this is what a raglan looks like. And this is the front of the sweater. And let me scooch closer. Motion sickness. Sorry people if you get motion sick. But you will see where I made an enhancement. Well, two enhancements. I don't want to give too much away, but my placement of the button band is different than where it calls for. And also, okay y'all, here's the front. Alright, and here's the back. Well, my button band is backwards, as you can see. So, my buttons will be backwards. They'll be back here. It'll go like this. And I was going to rip it out all the way down to where I start the pattern for the bottom half. But then I decided not to. I'm like, you know what, Nicole? I'm like, it's a design element. And if you've watched my podcast for a while, you've heard me say about the Amish, how they purposely put mistakes in their items they make, like their quilts, their clothing, any kind of thing that they make. They put mistakes in it because they feel that it should not be perfect. That is kind of how I feel. It's not meant to be perfect. It does not have to come out perfect, and that is okay. Usually some things that I make up might have 1 or 2 mistakes in it, and that's okay, because I feel that it's not meant to be perfect. That's just how I feel. It's meant to have mistakes, because I feel we are not perfect as humans. We are not perfect in any way. And we all make mistakes. And I'm sure how many of us knitting and crocheting make mistakes in our garments. And I'm sorry, my shirt's like... Anyways, as I said, I don't look at it as a mistake. I look at it as a design element. And yes, I'm using 2 different needles. And as you can see, even here, I put in a little design element as well. And I like it because this is going to be personal. Not many people will have that like that. And how many people will have a button that it buttons from the back and the buttons are coming from the front? I think it's awesome. And I even mentioned on Instagram to Mel about it. I said to Mel, I think you would agree. It isn't a mistake. It is a design element. And that's okay. Because it is really okay to experiment with patterns that you're working on. You know, I feel patterns are kind of like a diagram for us just to go on, and we can alter them if we like to. They don't have to be 100% that way. I do love this, and I cannot wait till it's finished. It probably won't be done while it's still cool here where I live in Pennsylvania. So it obviously, the weather's starting to warm up, so I probably won't get to wear it till fall, and that's okay, you know? Hey, it's okay. It is what it is. I will take pictures and put them up when it's finished, and you guys will obviously get to see it. This is like a really big thing. I have all my needles. I knew it would take the longest. Oh, excuse me, my nose is running. Alright. We're going to go into my next topic, and I will show you my work in progress. Alright, I guess you guys saw my little autism penguin that it's okay to be different. And that's what's bringing me into this. And you guys have seen in the beginning of my video that this is a lengthy podcast this time. And these will be for the month of April, because each week in the podcast I'm going to be talking about autism, since this is Autism Awareness Month. And also, if most of you know, but if you're new, I am participating in a knit and crochet along with the Pen Hook and Needles podcast for their It's Okay to Be Different Autism Awareness Cow. And I want to talk about it. I want to talk about autism. And I wanted to say, firstly, I wanted to say thank you to Marlisha and Talia for having Davina on. Marlisha, I just loved your daughter, Davina. She is such a sweet thing. I wanted to hug her. And I really loved her hat. I want that hat. I think it is so cute. I love it because it blinks. And yes, Talia, I would actually walk around wearing that hat blinking, because it's different and I don't like to be normal. Anyways, I wanted to say I was glad she was on, and she did a wonderful job, and I love her crochet. Her blanket, she's crocheting this blanket. I'm calling it the mermaid blanket. I hope that's okay. But these colors reminds me of like oceany colors, because it's like blues and teals, and it is so pretty. Check the podcast out and see it, because I really love the blanket. She's doing such a great job. And of course, y'all know I love her second blanket she's working on. Or no, that she finished. With all the bright colors. Tell Davina it rocks. Nicole loves it. And she did such a great job. Especially with the border. She did fantastic. And a little FYI, you were saying that she's a left-handed crocheter. I'm not sure if either one of you are left-handed. And if I'm right, I think she said she's going to try to make fingerless mittens in double crochet. If you guys want, maybe I can do a video to help her, maybe to show her. Since I'm a left-handed person, maybe it may come across in the video easier. If you need help, just let me know. I don't want to stick my 2 cents in where it's not needed. But anyways, for those of you that don't know, Marlicia's daughter, Davina, has autism. She completely blew me away. She's so well. I wish I could be as well spoken as she is. Okay, let me tell you. I wish I could be as well spoken as she is and articulate with her speaking. I just wish, okay? Because I feel like my podcast come across as I'm the crazy lady. You know, you come in each week to watch the crazy person. But anyways, getting back to the autism. I was digressing, but sorry. If most of you don't know what autism is, it's basically called, I'm getting my, first of all, the information I'm going to tell you all is coming from autismspeaks.org. And autism it's called autism spectrum disorder, ADS. And autism are both a general term for groups of complex disorders of the brain and development. I do know that there are different types of autism. I know Asperger's is a form of autism. I don't know if they classify it as I think Talia said they don't, but I think it's a form of autism, Asperger's. And I know there's another one, I think is it called Kawasaki syndrome? I'm not sure I'm saying it right. But I do know that there are many different forms of autism, and I believe classifications. Okay, these disorders are characterized in varying degrees by difficulties in social interacting, verbal and nonverbal communication, and repetitive behaviors. Some people, I know not all people, but some people with autism have OCD. It can go from just to extremely obsessive compulsive disorder, like they have to touch something so many times and count things. And if you mess them up in any way, if they have extreme OCD, if you mess somebody up with extreme OCD, they start their whole pattern over. I know somebody who has autism and he has to pet things. Like he'd come up to my bag and he has to pet my bag. Or he wants to pet flowers, and that's okay. And there's people, like, when they say social behavior, sometimes in social settings, they get nervous, they don't want to speak to you, they'll become nonverbal, or they'll just blurt something out without thinking, like, they'll say to me, "Hey, you're fat, I'm skinny." You know, without even thinking if that hurt my feelings. Or they could say, "Don't eat that, that's disgusting, this is what it's made of." You know, just general things like that. Like, they could say something to you and it comes across to you as mean and maybe hurts your feelings. And to them, it's just, they blurt it out. They don't realize that it's inappropriate or it hurts the other person's feelings. Now, I get, maybe because I have a healthcare background, and if I come across somebody with autism and they could blurt something out to me and people would think it's mean, it doesn't bother me. I'm okay with that. You know, it's like, okay, fine. Didn't hurt my feelings. You know, I understand. And nonverbal, as far as nonverbal, if somebody can correct me if I'm wrong here, but sometimes that'll be like not speaking or anything non-verbally to let you know they need or want something. There are people that I've heard, I've never come across it, but I've heard, I'm sorry, my nose is running. But I've heard of people with autism that do not speak at all. They are completely 100% non-verbal. They maybe they'll point to it, but they won't physically tell you what they need. And then also there are some, as in social settings, where they will not speak to you because it bothers them. Or they could be out in a social setting and the noise could just hurt their ears. I have read where some people with autism, like, they'll be like, the noise, I can't be here. It hurts my ears. I can't. You know, it's hurting me to be here with 2 or 3 people. Sorry, I had to blow my nose. But anyways, that, like I said, you know, noise. They won't look at, sometimes they will not look at you. They'll look down and be like, how are you today? Well, I'm glad. I'm fine. Thank you for asking me. And you'll be there like, why won't you look at me? And sometimes they'll be like, I can't look at you. It hurts my eyes to look at you. Like, they can't do eye contact with you. Like, some people say it hurts their eyes. Some people are like, no, I can't look at you. I don't want to look at you. It's just one of those things. Or instead of looking at you, they'll talk to you and they'll be looking like this, and you're like, you know, what's going on? They'll carry a conversation, but you're just carrying on a conversation like this with you. I have come across that. At first, before I got my healthcare background, I didn't understand. I was like, what? And then I read up, I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I get it. You know, fine by me. I get it. You're not ignoring me. You're not being rude. You just can't look at me. Get it. Behavior. I have also, as far as behavior-wise, I have seen where some people with autism had to be placed in places for a while. I think there are special places where, like, because some people, their form of autism is behavior where they act out and they get violent, like they start beating people up, and then they have to be placed somewhere for a while. I don't know if it's a mental health facility or if they have special places for people with autism where they can place them for so long to help them with their behavior. But I have seen that with autism where, and I've only heard about it with it happening in males with autism where they can get very violent. I don't, like, degrees, like I have come across with somebody where they bet a parent up and they had to be placed somewhere to get help for their behavior. I don't know what form of autism that is, but I do know, and as I said, I have come across it where they can get violent. You know, I don't know what triggers it. It is generally diagnosed in early childhood. It says here, I'm reading this from the website, they're recognized as distinct subtypes including autistic disorder, childhood can't see right without my glasses. Disintegrative disorder, persuasive development disorder not otherwise specified, PDD/NOS, and Asperger's syndrome. ASD can be associated with intellectual disability, difficulty in motor coordination and attention, and physical health issues such as sleep, gastrointestinal disturbances, and some persons with ASD excel in visual skills such as music, math, and art. Autism appears to have its roots in very early brain development. However, the most obvious signs of autism and symptoms of autism tend to emerge between ages 2 and 3 years of age. And 1 in 68 American children have a autism spectrum. 1 out of 42 boys and 1 in 189 girls are diagnosed with autism in the United States. The cause of it is they're thinking a gene mutation in the brain. Maybe something in the wiring in the brain is causing it. I've heard that. I've heard our shots that we get from babies on up. Honestly, there's still so much research going on with it. They don't fully know where autism comes from yet. My feeling is, I kind of feel autism is one of those things that's been around since the beginning of time, and it's been called hundreds of different names probably from the beginning of time. People have associated with, and we just don't realize it. I think if they go back further in their research, they will see ages and ages ago people have had this disorder. I know there's no cure, but I'm glad there are treatments. And my blathering is now going to lead into what I'm working on for my autism cowl, and that is the monster cowl right here. And it is a paid-for pattern Ravelry by Julia Allen. But I'm not calling mine the monster cowl. It is my autism, it's okay to be different cowl. Or neck warmer, because I don't like the word cowl. Here's what it looks like. Here is where I was last week, my little diggity-doo, my little elephants. This is actually a crochet stitch marker, but I'm using it as a little doopity-doo so that you can see where I left off last week. But this is the progress I made. It got some love. This is starting to become my TV knitting because I have the pattern memorized. And I'll sit there and I'll count, I'm like, okay. Or, wait, I got too many. It's okay. As I said, because, hey, nobody's perfect. Not perfect. There's mistakes, and it's okay that this is different because part of Pinhook and Needles, their autism cowl is it's okay to be different, so this is okay to be different. And I am using Red Heart Boutique yarn in the Parrot colorway, and I just love this. And Marlisha, I wanted to let you know, I have noticed too, in this, I don't want to say felting, but sometimes I get little fuzzies that I'm picking off, but this is a great yarn. And I love the yarn that you used, that you're using, or you're using it to make a sweater. I love that color too, and I love this. Especially because I don't have to change colors. I find in knitting, I hate changing colors. Crocheting, it doesn't bother me when I crochet to change colors, because when I crochet the old yarn and the new yarn, I can put those stragglers in the back and hold them down and crochet them into my work, and you never see them. So I never have really any ends to weave in when I crochet, because I trap them as I go. And knitting, I'm having a hard time trapping them in as I go, but this is what this guy's looking at. And I'll move the marker up. And their cal runs until June. And it's knitting and crocheting only. And they have several patterns on their website that you can choose to knit and crochet from. This is not one of them on the list. It's just one that I frogged the original project, and I'm redoing it because I thought it would be awesome to have a brightly colored neck warmer. Because that's just me. I love color. Alright, as I said, this is a long podcast. I'm sorry. I hope next week will not be as long. I will not be going into any personal chatter because I'm sure we're probably at 40-50 minutes. But I just want to quickly say before I leave that during the podcast for a while, if you notice, I may sound nasally or congested or coughing. Forgive me, I'm apologizing in advance because my allergies are starting to act up because it is spring here in Pennsylvania. And also, I want to wish everybody that celebrates Easter and Passover have a wonderful Passover. I'm pretty sure it's almost over for you guys that celebrate Passover. So have a wonderful Passover, and for those of you that celebrate Easter, have a wonderful and blessed Easter, and be safe, and I will talk to you all again next week. Bye.